Stem cells. Some of you may have heard of stem cells before. Simply put, stem cells are cells in the body that have the ability to be programmed into any tissue in the body. Because of this, stem cells are currently the most promising avenue for regenerative medicine. There's a lot we still don't know about stem cells and their need to be programmed once in the body. But we do know is that they're the wave of the future for many disabilities and many diseases, giving people back lost independence and pain that they had to live with and accept as normal. Stem cells have been programmed. Stem cells that haven't been programmed are in our bone marrow and in our fat tissues. They can also be found in our blood. On average, a person will shed 1.5 pounds of skin cells a year, which means with the help of stem cells, our skin is constantly regenerating itself, starting out as a stem cell and then becoming a skin cell on its own without being programmed. I find it interesting to think that all along we've had this medicine inside our body that has been just waiting for it to be activated and help many diseases and disabilities out there. In some countries, stem cell treatments are already available as part of their medical practice. Canada is in the early stages of research. We are still about 10 to 15 years out before human trials for all diseases, requiring constant funding and sticking to some pretty heavy government guidelines. Unfortunately for many people, including myself, 10 to 15 years out is just too long to wait. Although some countries are implementing these treatments, we don't know what exact positive effects on each person, individual person that they'll have. We know the effects will be positive, but to what degree? It is not a guarantee and should certainly not be promoted as a cure at this stage. The most common stem cell treatments are embryonic extraction and adult stem cell extraction. We can get the adult stem cells from fat and bone marrow, like I mentioned earlier. Although embryonic stem cells extraction is still a utilized therapy in many medical clinics, the focus has really shifted to adult stem cell therapy. This way, the stem cells are taken directly from the patient itself. There's no moral controversy, and there are fewer steps because there's no fear of rejection from a donor giving the stem cell matches. When stem cells are reintroduced to the body intravenously, they go directly to the points in the body that are sending off a distressed beacon, repairing damaged tissues almost immediately. You may be asking yourself why stem cells are so important to me. Well, I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 12 years old. Not understanding the severity of what was being told to me, I remember just being glad I knew the name of it. Because even at 12, I figured if I know the name of it, then I can fix it. I was an active child. I frequently played hockey. Before being diagnosed, I started to notice some changes. Not yet visible by the naked eye, I could just feel it. I wasn't able to skate as fast or to shoot the puck as hard. My muscles couldn't deliver the request. I would ask and they just simply couldn't deliver it. I didn't know why. With no visible deterioration, I just thought maybe I wasn't good at skating anymore or I wasn't good at shooting the puck anymore. The frustration of constantly asking your body to do something and it not being able to fulfill that request is something just beyond explanation. Think of something that you love to do. Imagine it right now, and then try to picture doing it and you not being able to do it anymore. And not because, oh, I hurt my finger and I can't sew anymore, or something like that. It's just you can't physically do it anymore with no real reason. It's a strange feeling. It's almost haunting. It's very powerless feeling. The summer when I started to swim in our family's pool, and my mom noticed that my right shoulder blade started to wing out a bit. The human body normally has muscles underneath the shoulder blade and scapula and on top. That keeps it tight to the body. Being 12 years old at the time, I just thought it was something neat, something that I could do that was interesting. A party trick, like touching your tongue to your nose or wiggling your ears. As the summer days went on, my mom noticed that it started to shift to the left side of my body. That's when she knew there was something not right. Took me to the children's hospital. Once the doctors told me I had muscular dystrophy, they informed me that I would come back when I was 16 for medication, pain management, and an electric wheelchair. And now, after many, many years of atrophy, my body looks like this. I know what you're thinking, and no, it's not altered and it's not photoshopped. This is the shape of my body when I'm standing. The thing to always remember is that disabilities come in all different shapes and sizes. The definition of disability is a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movements, senses, or activities. It is interesting to me because the word disability is very broad, yet we as a society have a very, very specific idea of what a person with a disability is supposed to look or act like. When I'm not being pushed in the wheelchair, as you saw when I came up here, I use my feet to propel myself. That's because my upper body is too weak. If I go to the movie theaters, I'll crawl up the stairs. I'll park in a designated handicap spot, and then I'll take my wheelchair out of the trunk. And I will then, with my feet, roll into the building. This certainly does not fit the stereotypical idea of what a person with a disability should be able to do. Now, since there was nothing else the doctors could offer, no treatments or therapies to prolong my independence or my health, my mom began to search for alternative therapies and treatments. The search brought up information from all over the world, treatments, therapies, and of course, hoaxes. Research and due diligence was the only way to separate the valuable data from the money scams. Throughout the years, I've tried many things and have only stuck with what works for me. After coming across documented cases of adult stem cell treatments and therapies in patients with varying disabilities and diseases, I knew that this was a path that I wanted to continue down. I've been receiving stem cell treatments for the last 5 years. Since they are not available in Canada, I have to travel to the US at a hefty price of $20,000 per treatment. In order to financially make this happen, I have had to pull on community, family, and friends. So far, I've been very humbled by the support that I've gotten. The treatment I receive is by extraction of adult stem cells from the abdominal, from the abdominal muscles, or excuse me, fat, via liposuction. Humans have thousands upon thousands of dormant stem cells in their fat tissue. When they are removed, they are separated, purified, and activated, and then reintroduced to the body intravenously. It has been said that the vascular system is the body's information superhighway. A study was done with the same treatment that I've been receiving on patients with COPD, which is a lung disease. They marked each of the stem cells and then introduced them intravenously back into the body via the bloodstream. Scanning the individual's body after they put the stem cells back in, it was remarkable to see that they were clustering in certain parts of the body. This is the distress beacon I was speaking about earlier. The majority of the stem cells were clustered in the lungs. Within a few hours, the patient was able to breathe easier. Within weeks, lung repair was noticeable. And within 6 months, the lungs had shown substantial repair. Although these stem cells were not programmed to be lung cells, as soon as they went into the body and found the tissue that was in pain, let's say, or distressed, they started to repair the damaged tissue. I've had 6 treatments. It is not a cure. My hope is to eventually outrun my disease. It has given me back my independence through increased energy, muscle strength, nerve function, and natural pain medicine, which I'm grateful for, by decreased inflammation. Upon my many travels to the US to get these stem cell treatments, I've met some pretty incredible people, all with varying diseases and disabilities. I had the pleasure of meeting a 65-year-old young lady with Parkinson's who traveled all the way from Australia on her own to the US. We had treatment the same day, so I got to speak with her a little bit in the cab on the ride over. Each movement she made was very slow. Her words were slow. Her walking was lethargic. Everything was really deliberate. The following day in the lobby of the hotel, I saw her and I was really excited to see what her benefits had been. We began talking. I instantly saw an improvement. She was speaking quick, moving quicker, almost as if her thoughts and nerve function was faster. She was able to move her hands and verbally communicate so much quicker. And I couldn't help but be like, you know that you're talking very quick and moving even quicker, right? And she said with just a huge smile, she's like, so I've heard. And I thought that that was just so awesome that these stem cells had already gone into our system and started to repair nerve damage. Canada is far behind other countries in what stem cell therapies are available in our medical system, and what they can provide with varying disease and disabilities. There's a lot of funding that is constantly needed to support our doctors in this research of stem cells, and many more years of research, but I watch stem cell therapies evolve around us, and I can't help but feel as though we as a country need to speed up the process by supporting this research. There's an animal hospital in Ontario currently that is treating animals with arthritis. The veterinarians are using the exact same to the T treatment that I receive when I go to the US. They take the stem cells from the abdomen and use the same method of purifying them and activating them. The stem cells are then injected into the animal's joints directly, and they're having great results. Now I know human trials require many more steps and approval than humans, but even then you can imagine my frustration when I found out I have to travel to a different country when a common household pet can get them right here. So the question is, to what extent are stem cells able to regenerate the body? Of course, we don't know for sure, but many avenues are being researched. There are certain animals that can regenerate complex body parts after amputation. The only other organ other than our skin that humans can regenerate is our liver. A damaged liver can grow back to its original size. But how do these animals grow back limbs, certain parts of their brains, eyes, and heart tissues? Well, once the area is damaged, stem cells flood the site, adapting, splitting, and multiplying to repair the injury. Pretty incredible stuff. The possibility of stem cells repairing damaged limbs, although in the distant future, is very exciting. So that's why I say stem cells are truly our body's own medicine. Thank you.